This morning we left Larswanya and stayed at a nice little albergue and in that town, and it was a neat little place, and we met some great people. We had dinner with everyone there. There's 48 people stay in that little place, and there were six in each room, so there's six in our room, and we ate dinner, and we met some people from everywhere, and we already met Walter. This guy said, German guy said at the end of the table, and he knew some people. He was telling, talking about, we was telling where he's from, and he said he knew people in Cedar Grove. And Shelly's, tapped Sammy. He said he knows somebody in Cedar Grove, and so he had actually contacted the people and asked them about it, and they ate at our pizza place. They knew who he was. They said the Lanes would take care of him and stuff. So that was kind of neat. And the French guy sitting next to me on the other side, he didn't speak any English, but
well, he spoke a little.
Yeah, more than I spoke French. Yeah, he knew more, but since I know nothing. And then he said a French saying was, "Only mountains never meet." It's kind of the idea of a small world, but it's just neat talking to people from everywhere and people trying to communicate and be friendly in the best way they can, and it's an experience that's different, than you can imagine. It's really neat.
At dinner last night, we sat with an Italian, a French, a German, an Austrian, then I think it was just us. And before that, we had been with some Australians.
Wendy, she was an American.
Oh yeah, American. We had
one American there.
That's right, one American at that table. But it is a neat experience.
Yeah. And then we left there, walked 10 miles.
No, last night. Last night, whenever.
Oh yeah, last night we had a guy in our room. He was from Ireland. His name was Paddy, and he sang us an Irish lullaby
before we went to bed.
And it was called
My Green Valley.
My Green Valley. It's
It was about the Irish leaving the immigration to America. It's whenever they left Ireland, and it's talking about how sad they are to leave their homeland. That they'll never see the Green Valley again.
Yeah, it was a sad song. It was really neat though. But he sat there and sung the whole song, and right there in the room with all of us in there, and he had this thick Irish accent, and that was just cool.
Yeah, his accent was about impossible to understand though. Every time he would talk, I'd just have to say, "What?" And he'd have to repeat himself, and I only understood every once in a while, and speaking English, and it was hard. But he was really funny. He was great.
Yeah, he walked the first day that usually gets split up into 2 days. A lot of people split up in 2 days because it's so hard. And he's a big guy, and he walked the whole thing. He had a big blister on his toe. Shelly doctored him up for him.
Yeah. He called me an angel.
He did. He said that she was an angel because she poked a needle through his toe. But then we left there. We walked to Pamplona. We walked the trail today was about 10 miles. It was about 10 miles. It was in great weather, really warm. We started off with probably some long sleeves, and eventually could have wore shorts, but we didn't. But it was really nice. It was real pretty weather. And it was, but it was tiresome. We were tired.
Yeah.
I was telling him we got up on top of the hill. I said I was getting dizzy. And then, she said she was getting lightheaded too. So I was afraid I was going to fall off the mountain a couple times, but we made it.
Yeah. He did get lost once.
I did get lost. I went the wrong way. And they have a little, on the signs, you got to watch the path. And I think we're going to talk about that later, about staying on the path. And I thought about I've got a lot of how the Camino is like life and things, but I'm just gonna maybe come up with later. But I went, it looked like the path, and I went up this big hill, and I called Shelly and I said, "This hill is awful." I said, "This is probably gonna be the worst hill," because she was behind me. She was right behind me.
You called me to tell me you bought me orange juice.
Well, that too. I asked her if she got her orange juice. I bought me an orange juice, and then I paid the lady. I said, "My wife's coming up behind me," and I described her, and I even pointed her out. I said, "This next one," And she just walked past her and she didn't give her no orange juice. So I called Shelly and said, "Did you get your orange juice?" And she said, "No." She said she didn't even offer me any orange juice. I should have went and got my euro back.
But he went up the mountain whenever he was supposed to go straight.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what I did when I got lost.
I was climbing up this steep thing and I got way up there and I was going to look for the marks, because I was kind of wondering if I went the right way. There's nobody around. And then I called Shelly and she said, "Did you go up that hill?" And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "Yeah, that wasn't right." And then when I got back down at the bottom, I saw the little X and I was like, "Oh man, I messed that up." But now we're in Pamplona and we went through this other city. We walked a little bit through a city and it was neat because it was different. That's the first big city we walked through. And then we got in Pamplona and it's just a beautiful city. It's really neat. And it's where they do the run into the bulls, which we're going to do in a few minutes when we get done with the video. We're going to...
We can barely walk with the bulls.
Yeah.
Run with them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's actually next month if anybody wants
July.
to do it.
It's at the end of July, right around the
Oh,
anniversary.
well, yeah, a month after we get home. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know when it is. But, we're having a good time. Everything's still going well. Other than our feet aching and screaming at us,
Nah, your feet are aching and my hip hurts.
Well, my feet are screaming at me and her hips screaming at her. But, we're
getting
going to
old.
keep going. Keep the spirits up. All right. Have a good night.